will then be approved by the county council and shall serve as a guide for the open space preservation. I think that was the intent all along, but we just spelled it out more.
Just to make sure that the two city councils are on board with input.
They have a chance to see it before it's approved.
Yeah.
You think that meet their desire?
Well, the notes I took, I kind of tried to interpret what her concern was, and I thought that was it.
Yeah, I think we want to be real careful with. I think it's worked great. I think it'll work. I think their major concern, if I remember correctly, was that they picked their own representative.
And that's the next
We got that right. Yeah, I didn't want to jump ahead, but I think she said if we could work through that one, that wasn't.
This will give them an opportunity to discuss what's going on before we approve it. But it doesn't necessarily mean we have to change it.
Have their vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd like to think we could work with them before we voted that we were all on the same page.
So the next item she had was under organizational structure, section 3. If you go to A6 under voting members of the board, I think she had a concern that if they didn't appoint someone within 30 days for their board, that the council would appoint someone automatically. So I deleted that section, so now it says, in the event that any of the cities or towns who have a right to appoint a board member do not appoint a board member, the Wasatch County Council may appoint a board member approved by the respective city council.
I think that addresses their concern there, right? Approved by them.
Yeah, I think so.
There's no time frame of that.
Time frame was deleted. The 30-day time frame was deleted.
Yeah, I think that was the major concern, right? Or the one that was a deal breaker.
And you might have talked about this before I came, because I was late to that, but they had a concern under 1.1, the membership. In your discussion, did that get resolved?
Yes,
Okay.
The last one I have is regarding whether it's a conservation easement, who holds the conservation easement. And so, in working with Scott's office, we came up with some new language.
What section is it?
I'm sorry, it's section 5, miscellaneous, subsection C.
Okay.
It says, it is recommended that the title to real property and conservation easements to preserve open lands be held by the county or municipality that has jurisdiction over the open lands, and that conservation easements be used to protect the open space, and that the conservation easements require that any sale or release of the burdened or benefited open land must be approved by a majority of the voters in the respective county or municipality through a referendum. I wonder if we give the option to either have a trust or that.
I think a third party holder or go this way.
And it doesn't explicitly say that. I got this out, at the last minute.
I agree with Steve. I think we want that if we have the option.
If we have the option.
And I would list the third party first if yes is the option. Is that what you're, I don't think it really matters.
Probably doesn't.
Now, if they place a conservation easement on the property, the title of the property is going to remain with the landowner.
Right.
And the conservation easement will be held by the third party or the county.
Right.
That would be what we need to have a referendum vote on to change, right?
Well, at least my understanding is that if the county holds the conservation easement and they wanted to do anything different with it, revoke it or develop it or whatever, it'd have to be a referendum.
So it couldn't be a council, it would have to be a referendum vote.
Yeah.
A vote by the majority of the citizens, which is, I think, good.
I do too.
Would put pressure. I'm not sure that that's completely legally enforceable, that takes that power away from a future council, but it would sure raise a political issue of that's what was wanted in these you look at the other thing is 200 years from now, if we've given it to a public company that is a non-profit company, they may or may not be in existence. You know. The one thing we know will be here is the county or other things. So that's kind of the thought process, but I didn't want to lead you astray to think that if you put it there, absolutely.
But there was nothing proven in the county.
Did you review this?
John reviewed this, and he and I talked about it with the language.
So he's comfortable with what?
We're comfortable with, we put the language in, we can't guarantee that
Sure.
it can't be done, but that's
Right.
what.
To be challenged.
The review is what I was curious, that you reviewed it, feel like we're good, but we understand you can't guarantee it.
On this one, if we put in there, it recommended that the title be held by this conservation, by that or a third party. Given the option, and then that could be decided by the open land board down what they recommend down the road.
Could it be put on in there that we had to be decided by or changed by referendum vote and the county council? Would that make it more legal or more, I mean, not and, put and in there and let that make it be approved by both boards? Or by the people and the board?
Or maybe,
I can't say anything about it.
I think if it goes to the people, that can go to the test.
Well, I would like it to go to the people, but I want to, does it change the legality at all by putting and in there and?
The question becomes is, can you take that power away from the council and enforcement is whatever. Now, the reality is, the council could make that decision in the future, and people could say no and ask for a referendum, and get a petition or fight against it on their own. This just says the council will put it.
this is the method set out, so they don't have to do that.
Right.
Okay, so
So you want me to add some language to that and bring it back?
I don't.
is everybody comfortable with that? If we could approve it and have it,
I'd ship it out to you before, electronically at least.
With the change.
I think I'm all right if you just add the option of the third party holder.
approve it as we amended it.
Okay.
With that
Because
option.
we want to get this moving, and we want to discuss it at the, I see you put it on the agenda for the next interlocal report.
Next,
November 2nd.
next second Tuesday.
Yeah.
Do you think we also need to add, Scott, do you think we also need to add to this document that the deed restriction will state that language, that it'd have to be a referendum, because, I mean, 30, 40 years down the road or whenever, we're all gone and who knows where this document is, that we need to have that in the deed restriction.
You know, the open lands board can do it whether or not it's in that document. They can put that as part of the deed restriction, but I don't know that it would hurt if it's in there.
I think we want to have that.
I would too.
Okay. Are you ready to make a motion, or do you want to see it again?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay.
I'd like to make the motion that we approve this Wasatch Open Land Board interlocal agreement and prepare for signatures and start the process of selecting board.
With the one change.
Do you want the changes made? Changes represented.
Is everybody clear on the motion?
Yeah, just a question, so with your, did you get a second on the motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a
We got
second. Discussion.
On the motion, if we pass it tonight, then it will go to the Heber City Council and Midway Council to approve it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they can start, once they've approved it, we've approved it, then they can start advertising to whatever to fill their seat on the board, correct?
Well, they would probably just appoint from within their council, right? I don't think they need to have.
I don't know whether they'll open it to public or.
Oh,
That's their-
I guess they
That's their
could.
choice.
I guess they could.
However they want to do it.
Well, we got 2 open board seats that we need to advertise for and take applications.
And get started on that.
Yeah.
So then what's the discussion going to be at the interlocal? I mean, I think that's a good place.
I think we'll just go through this and tell them where we're at and where we want to be.
Review of the document, probably, and the
Yeah.
But I think it would be good if we approve it tonight, that we send it to them with a note that says,
we hope that you
So that
review
time
this
to review.
prior to the interlocal meeting.
They will have had meetings between now and then, they could pass it if they choose to.
And then when you get there, everybody's kind of had a chance to understand and get through it. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Farrell and a second by Mr. Park, is that correct?
Can I ask another question? Do you want me to send this, do you think Heidi would be best to see the red line language in here? Or just do a clean copy?
I'd just do a clean copy and send it to all of them.
Okay.
I guess that's just my.
We need a clean copy too.
Right.
Yeah, send it to all the councils.
I'll make the change, I'll send it to you guys, then you guys can get it to
I don't
Heidi.
see any problem sending Heidi a red line version.
No,
I don't even.
I want to see a clean one.
Because she came to the meeting.
Yeah, and I'm sure that our council members would like to see a clean one too.
And I would just tell her when we send the red line that it was approved by us.
Approved by us, yeah.
And then send her a clean one.
If the vote goes.
If it goes that way.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Farrell and a second by Mr. Park. Any further discussion on the motion? Now proceed to vote, Mr. Crittenden.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, can we start advertising then for them 2 board seats?
Yeah, how do we do that?
Yeah.
Can you just write the language you want and give me, and I'll make sure it gets.
Get on the webpage and we need to get an order, something in the way.
If you just give me that information, I can.
Okay. Okay, we are at council board reports.